Craig here? Yeah, there's Craig. Craig Trebilcock is here. I want to make sure that we get a chance to introduce Craig. So come on up, Craig. Craig is a gold medal winner from last year, and he is here to help us award our new gold medal winners. So I'm going to let him tell his own story.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Are you a veteran?
Yes, sir.
Let's start with that.
Okay, I'm Craig Trebilcock. In my civilian life, I'm an attorney up in Pennsylvania. I'm in the Army Reserve for 22 years. Have the rank of colonel. I was in the invasion of Iraq in 2003 through 2004, among other places. I've written a couple books about that. One's called One Weekend a Month, which was as we called it, thinly veiled fiction of the account of the Iraq War, because when I started it, I was still on active duty, and some of the things I wrote in there would have probably gotten me court-martialed if I hadn't called it fiction. And last year released the second book, which is about the same characters coming home, which is called No Time for Ribbons, and it's kind of about the adjustments of coming back to civilian life after having been through that sort of thing. So that's kind of my experience of writing up to this point, and it's been a real educational experience in terms of learning how to be a writer, and it's been a real educational experience in terms of how to learn to be a combat soldier and react, because I'm in one of what we would jokingly call one of the weenie branches, which is I'm a JAG Corps officer, and I learned more about being a soldier in 30 days in Iraq than I did in previous 17 years combined, because when we went over there, you know, it's the old thing where when you go overseas, you don't know what to expect, and I thought I was going to be an Army lawyer, probably sitting in a headquarters behind a desk in some tent or something like that, thinking deep thoughts. And after about 2 weeks, I found myself as a convoy commander in Iraq, planning everything from security to medevacs to all the craziness that happens over there. So I had to kind of learn on the fly.
What was the name of the book that you won the Gold Award for?
That was called One Weekend a Month. That came out in late 2006 and received a 2008 award. And it's kind of a little bit of my tongue-in-cheek perception of what was going on. The one thing that the press definitely got right about the Iraq War was there really wasn't a lot of planning for after Baghdad fell. And it's one of the quotes I put in the beginning of the book. The night before we went across the line into Iraq, our general called us in, and we had not been briefed on the mission up to that point, and we were going out at dark 30 to cross into Iraq, and he pulled us all together and he said, "Men, do what's necessary, I'll back you up." And we all looked at each other like, yeah, you gotta be kidding, General, what's the plan? But of course nobody said that, so that's what we did. We crossed the wire, and the whole place was chaos, and the cities were still burning, and the civilians were fleeing, and there was no water and no food and sewage running in the streets, and no justice system and no police, and no emergency services, and we just kind of went to the grid where they told us where we should be out in the desert and started rebuilding the country. We had no authority whatsoever to do anything. I was, as a JAG officer, one of my jobs was getting the police and the courts running again, and I had absolutely no authority to do anything, but I listened to what the general said, and I started bringing in Iraqi judges, and I'd say, "You're fired, you get to stay." I was a lieutenant colonel then, and I started deciding what the laws of Iraq would be post-war. I mean, you know, those are decisions that should be being made at the level of the State Department or the Secretary of Defense or the President of the United States. And I got a copy of the Iraqi code translated into English and just started crossing things out and saying, this isn't the law anymore. So that's what we did.
Well, thank you very much. And so you're giving out the gold medalists tomorrow?
Yes, I am. This is my first MWSA convention. I'm really looking forward to meeting everybody and giving out the fiction and the historical fiction awards.
What's your website address?
It is armyauthor.com.
That's pretty creative. It's amazing that it's available.
Brilliant. With a name like Trebilcock, I knew I had to come up with something that people could remember. And I knew they'd never get Trebilcock right, because even my own grandmother can barely spell it. So, yeah, I wanted to keep it simple.
What would you like to say to the men and women who are now in Iraq and Afghanistan?
I would say that I'm simply humbled to have been one of you and to have been in your ranks and your presence. I'm a lawyer in a civilian law firm. None of the guys that I work with have ever served, and they think I'm absolutely insane, and that I'm still in after the Iraq War, too. And they always say, why do you do this? What, are you nuts? You make a lot of money as a civilian lawyer. You could get shot. I'm like, really? You think so? And the point is the people I served with. It's the men and women you serve with that keeps you coming back. They are incredible, and most of our society has no idea how incredible these men and women are. And just to be among their ranks is such an honor that that's why I'm still there, and I salute them for their continued service.
We thank you for your service too, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll put it up and edit to the stock show page.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.